John, Blake, and Young made their way to Haven as they saw Ruby and Weiss fight against Emerald and Mercury. As Team Pinar and Crow is battling against Tyrion and Hazel while Ashbin had disarmed Lionheart. John saw Lionheart being held down and realized that only Ashbin's inner circle knew of the maidens. Then the enemy finally found out where Amber was. If it wasn't Ashbin, Glinda, Ironwood, or Crow. The battle was interrupted by a roar of unrelenting rage. John, L-O-N-H-A-A-R-T-T. Hazel, that kid. B then charges the downed headmaster as Ashbin was caught off guard by the murderous intent. Then he looks to John, who had him pinned to a wall with crimson aimed so close to his eyes as it blazes around. John, you're a fucking traitor. Leo, I had no choice. We're not gonna win with the way Ashbin was handling things. John then took a glance at Ashbin filled with hate, then returns his full attention. John, doesn't change the fact that you sold out Amber. Leo, it was her or me. John then slowly squeezes his windpipe as he began choking. Ashbin, Mr. Branwen, no. John, TCH. He drops him, but shot both his kneecaps with Aurum, breaking them, making him bleed. John, don't go anywhere. He then joined the rest in battle, but he noticed the man. John, you. Hazel, are you one of Ashbin's puppets? John, I despise him more than anyone here. I'm searching for answers. Hazel, then don't get in my way. John, sorry. You're helping this bunch of murderers. I will not let you kill any more innocent people. Hazel, then you will die. John, not until I bring justice to the one that got the first person I loved killed. Hazel, the Ashbin is your enemy. He forces people to live with his curses and gets them killed. John, get in line, I have a bone to pick with him. Hazel then brought out Dust and stabs them in his arms as he surges with power. John took out Crimson and sets it ablaze as Ashbin stood by his side. John glared at him. Ashbin, he was once my student. Let me help you. John, after this we'll have words. The two then charges the powered Goliath. Emerald, you took everything from me. Cinder was all that I had. Ruby, she was nothing but a monster that hurts people. And you're no better. Emerald, you don't know anything. Young, like all the people she killed for her own agenda? I don't think so. Her and you two almost ruined me in Vital. I'm out for blood. As she then prepares Ember Silica, but they were cut off as a shot hit Emerald in the side of her head and sent he flying to the wall, breaking her aura and knocking her out. They all looked to where the shot came from as they saw John holding a smoking Aurum. John, shut the fuck up about Cinder. I'm glad the bitch is dead, but I regret not being the one to kill her. Then he returns to fighting Hazel. Ruby and Yang goes to the downed emerald. As she was regaining consciousness, Yang kicked her in the face, knocking her completely out. Then they restrained her as Blake and Weiss took on Mercury, who was having a hard time dealing with a summoner and a ninja. Crow was having a dance with Tyrion. Leo tried to crawl away as a foot smashes on his back, revealing Raven. My son said don't move. I guess traitors never listen, don't they? Raven. My son said don't move. I guess traitors never listen, don't they? She looks to John and Ashvin, who had Hazel subdued. Hazel, how could you fight for that man? He's responsible for many deaths. Ashvin, many of which was caused by you. You're the one who killed countless huntsmen and huntresses, both old and young. And for what? For some petty revenge? Hazel, you got my sister killed. John, and that justify you killing others, even children? Hazel, John, how many? How many? Hazel. He looks away. John. What was her name? Hazel. Gretchen. Ashbin. She was a huntress who was under my care. John. How many did you kill? Men, women and children. Fathers, brothers, mothers, sisters, sons and daughters. How many Gretchens have you made? Hazel, John, I lost Amber, but she wouldn't want me to become like you. I finally realized this. If I knew who Gretchen was, she would be disgusted at what you are now. We became huntsmen to bring hope and to save people. Like me, she knew there will be a day where our lives would end. Everything you did up to this point spits at the memory and foundation of her sacrifice. Hazel's eyes widen as tears drop to the ground. John looks to the broken man and thought, if I just let my hate take over my life, would I have ended up like him? Ashbin puts a hand on his shoulder as he brushes it aside. They heard fighting as they saw only Tyrion and Mercury left fighting. Weiss froze Mercury's legs as Blake swings in and drop-kicked him in the balls, crippling him as Emerald was restrained and blindfolded to prevent her on targeting her semblance. John then assisted Crow in combating the insane Faunus. Tyrion. Oh, a new dance partner. I'm getting tired of this old bird. Tyrion took a good look at John, but he found something he liked by looking into his eyes. Tyrion, with such a lovely, hateful gaze, I never thought someone so young would have such malicious and murderous eyes. John, don't tempt me right now. Then Salem herself appeared as she took those she can as she wailed at them. Raven stepped in front of John and releases a storm, pushing Salem back. Salem, a motherly maiden. I think we should take our leave. Tyrion, my goddess, you can't. Then they disappears, leaving Emerald, Hazel, and Leonardo to fend for themselves. Jaune then drew azure and brought crimson in a scissor at Leonardo's neck. Jaune, tell me what you know and I might let you live. Leo, I had no choice. I had to tell them where the Fall Maiden was. Jaune, you sold her out. As he grinds the two blades together, drawing blood, but not fully. Leo, Oz lied to everyone. We can't win. Jaune, you haven't faced the enemy yet, and you say we can't win. For a lion, you are a coward. Ashbin, Mr. Branwen, please, we need him alive. Jaune, after all he's done, after he got Amber killed, and don't forget your part in this, wizard. When I'm done with all of them, I'm coming for you. Then a hand was on his shoulder. It was Raven with a sad look. Raven, no, Jaune. If you kill him now, you'll be more lost than the first time we met. I can't let you do this. Jaune, he needs to pay. For all the harms he's done. For Vale, for Vital, for Beacon, and for Amber. As he begins to cry. Raven, he will pay Jaune, but not at the expense of your soul. Jaune then drops both his swords as Raven tries to comfort him, but he walks away. Jaune, what's the point of this? What's the point in anything? Huntsmen are no heroes. Lionheart showed my why. There's nothing here for me anymore. He walks away against the protest of Raven, Yang, and Blake. Leo, he finally sees it my way. Then his head flew off as Raven finished off the traitor. Ashbin, Eno. Raven, what have you done? Raven, dealt with a problem. Why would you believe a man who would betray his entire race to save his pathetic life? If you want answers. She points to Hazel and Emerald. Raven, they're more than good enough for questioning. I have to help my son, then I'm going to deal with you, Oz. Ashbin. Raven left with Yang and Blake following her. There are things worse than death. Jaune Branwen. He had his identity ripped away. He had his dreams shattered. His first love taken away. His beliefs trampled on. Now his purpose became meaningless.